Now, to look at other political stories that made news this week, joining us to help unpack some of these stories is political analyst Sandile Swana. A very good evening to you, and thank you so much for speaking to us, Mr. Swana. I'd like to start with what is happening in KwaZulu-Natal at the moment. We saw Mamuluku Kubai try and give a diplomatic response to just how deep the problems are and whether or not there is hope for the KwaZulu-Natal leadership, provincial leadership. One of the things that it's accused of is of interfering in the business of the provincial cabinet, a cabinet meeting not taking place because the provincial leadership wanted to be kept up to date on the agenda. What are your thoughts of how deep the fissures are of leadership in that province?
It is clear that thanks Sepiso and to your viewers, let's say that it is clear that the divisions are deep. When you start to have a situation where the provincial political ANC leadership is asking for agendas to be pre-approved by themselves, they don't trust their deployees. There are factions in the province. And we've seen that some people have been unceremoniously removed from that cabinet, et cetera, et cetera. So there are divisions. And those divisions are also still within the ANC, also in the manner that you start to see who gets sent to go and provide intervention in those provinces, such as KZN.
And KwaZulu-Natal having the biggest numbers in terms of membership, how significant is this particular meeting and the outcome thereof on the road to 2024?
The size of the membership of the ANC, unfortunately, is not a sign of how strong the ANC is relative to its competition. The information that we have now is that out of 12 by-elections that have taken place in KZN, the ANC only won 4. So give or take, they have a 33% success rate and a very big failure rate at this present moment in time in KZN. That on its own could have warranted the sending of a delegation to KZN because the IFP and the DA, together with their allies, appear to be able to beat the ANC and are aggressively attacking strongholds of the ANC and winning in the process of winning.
Speaking of public trust, I'd like to look back at what we saw earlier on in the week, the question and answer session by the President in Parliament dealing with myriad factors, but central to which was the issue of energy. And of course, there was the issue of the diplomatic spat between South Africa and the US. How satisfactorily do you think the President was able to answer some of these questions? Was he able to convince the public on the handling thereof?
His slow approach this time on the question of the USA making accusations against South Africa in many ways has actually been vindicated and proved to be helpful rather than jumping to other conclusions. Because for all practical purposes, the confidence with which the ambassador of the United States of America made the allegation whittled overnight when pressed by our Minister of International Relations, Naledi Pandor, and basically admitted that he made false impressions to the public about what had happened here. So Cyril Ramaphosa does not need to say anything further. I mean, to me, the matter ends there. So that one, although at the time may have looked suspicious, but within a matter of days, it proved that his answer was prudent. On the ESCOM issues, there is one big issue at ESCOM, regardless of the many others, is on which date is load shedding going to end. All the answers that he gives do not tell us when this load shedding is going to be arrested, first of all, so that it doesn't increase. Secondly, when it is going to end. he doesn't seem to have a credible plan around that issue, certainly. The other issues about crime, including the crime involving his cabinet ministers, the intervention in KZN, for instance, right now by some of his people, shows that when you hear or see in the newspapers that things are going wrong somewhere in your structures and so on, you intervene. You don't wait for the police to come and give you a final report or a court decision. So his answer on the names of the ministers who are implicated, who are diverting resources from their proper purposes at ESCOM, his response is inadequate, because as a leader, he should use other processes other than the criminal procedure to actually address any misconduct or misdirection of resources at a crucial time such as this.
All right. And finally, there's the visit by the Deputy President of Colombia, Francia Marquez, who met with the Deputy President of the Republic of South Africa, Mr. Paul Mashatile. Looking at the bilateral relations between the two countries, because it said that there's a lot virtually untapped in terms of opportunities for South Africa and Colombia. What commercial opportunities are there that we should be exploiting through these talks?
Yes, obviously, I mean, we need to just say that Colombia has an unfortunate history of drug dealing, but in reality, they are also a normal country like us. The majority of the people are not drug dealers. So they would be able to assist us with agriculture, and agriculture, they are strong in that, manufacturing, and a few other sectors. But more importantly, they are coming at a time when the left has won power in Colombia. People who have been over time allies of the African National Congress and active members of the Global South. So they are going to crisscross Africa, trying to see how they can assist with a continent-wide Africa free trade agreement. So that is exactly like any other country, whether it is Ukraine, Russia, or any other country. We need to be focusing on trade opportunities more than anything else. And this is one of those.
Just very quickly, Mr. Swana, we saw the heads of arguments tabled by President Cyril Ramaphosa against the private prosecution by former President Jacob Zuma. And former President Jacob Zuma believes that this application to interdict that should not be entertained because President Cyril Ramaphosa has various other avenues that he could follow. What are your thoughts on where this will end up? I know the matter goes to court on the 17th and 18th of May. What do you foresee unfolding?
My view of this entire matter is that President Jacob Zuma is probably backing up the wrong tree. And I don't think it is going to achieve much success. I don't think so.
All right. Thank you so much for your time and sharing your insights with us. Much appreciated. Political analyst Mr. Sandile Swana just speaking to us about some of the major stories of the week, giving his political analysis.